You may remember from the last video I was making some arbours for this D-bit grinder. I made two out of aluminium, but I'm expecting delivery of two more grind discs. One's a cut-off disc, 1mm thick. I'll use that for cutting carbide rod, and another one with a very narrow angle which gets into places where one of these will. So I made two more. Unlike the other two, these are actually made out of stainless steel. What I thought I'd do is go over in a bit more detail how these are made. Some people may find that useful. Pop back over here. So these were cut from a length of 2-inch diameter stainless from solid, which took some doing and also resulted in quite a lot of swath. Not trivial on a little Myford. So mostly these are quite simple to make, it's just turning, but with one gotcha. One slightly tricky bit is the taper socket on the back which fits the tapered spindle, and that has to be precise to work, and it has to be concentric. So that's a tricky bit. I'll show you how that's done. Now, according to the drawings, you may be able to see, that taper is quoted as being 1 to 5. So that works out in degrees of 5.71 degrees set over on the top slide. Now the Myford simply can't do that accurately. I mean, there's 1 degree marks on there, so there's no way you can get that accurate. So you have to do something else. And the way to do it is with a dial indicator against the side of the top slide. Now there's a caveat there. I know for a fact on this Myford lathe that the sides of the top slide are parallel with the dovetails, so it runs true to that. I know I can indicate off that. So you're going to need a dial indicator with at least 200 thou travel, not a dial test indicator, such as one of these things, because it simply doesn't have the travel to do this. Now we know with a taper of 1 to 5 that it basically moves 5 along that axis and 1 on that axis. So the trick to setting the top slide accurately is to use this edge and measure the offset using the dial indicator. Now if your top slide is all cast, or it's not true to the dovetailed slide, which it might be if it's a really old lathe, then you'll have to set up a register which is parallel, which is an extra step. So you would have to clamp a parallel to it, and then ensure that it's running true first, parallel with the lathe bed, and then use that as a register to measure against. Anyway, as I was saying, this is a 1 to 5 taper. That's an included taper, so it's 5 units that way. It'll move 1 unit that way. The top slide needs to be set to half that, so it's 5 units that way, 0.5 units that way. Now in this case, this is an imperial lathe, so as an example, let's say 1 inch. Then if it moves 1 inch along the lathe bed, then that offset needs to be 100 thou. Now I can measure that quite easily. So we reach a starting point, and then we use the cross slide to 0 like that, and then I move 1 inch longitudinally. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Exactly there. We can see that it's not quite right. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 thou out over 1 inch. So what we can do is just loosen the clamp nuts, clamp bolts, so that it can move, but it stays in place. And it's not it needs to move in this end a bit, so we can just tap it, preferably with a soft hammer like this bronze one, then move back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then you'll have to reset cross slide to 0, like so, and then check again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to there. That's still not right. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There. Well, that's closer. That's 2 thou. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Set to 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, case you haven't guessed, it's 8 turns because each turn is 1/8 of an inch. Well, that hasn't moved very much, now it's 1 and a bit. Let's try that. 1, 2, 3, 8 to there. Oh, that's spot on. So, can lock that down now. And we've finished with the dial indicator. So the first thing you need to do is to make one of these, which is D-bit arbor. You don't have to mark it with a laser. Also, I mean, I'm using 3-jaw chuck here. This 3-jaw chuck is set true, and I have set it true, and it's quite repeatable. You could use a collet, or you could do whatever you need to do to make sure that your workpiece is running true. You can then use the top slide to cut this taper, and then that will act as an arbor which you can use to mount your blank. The first thing you do would be to drill right through 6.8 mil, and then I just tapped it 8 mil right the way through. That's 8 mil by 1.25 mil pitch, and then I sank a 3/8 inch end mill in to make the clearance for the head of the 6 mil clamp bolt. Having done that, just imagine this turning has not been done. You can then mount that without the screw in place. Onto your arbor, and you can hold it in place with a screw, and then it's just a case of turning this down to the required diameter, which is 20mm here. The thread I've used is a bastard thread. It's 19mm by 26 TPI. It doesn't make any difference because I'm thread cutting, single point cutting both the thread on here and also the nut so that they match. And that's about all there is to it. You've got to make up a washer, and parting that off is a lot of fun. Not on this lathe. And you also need to make a little locking nut, and all these are similar to the stock items, and that's it. That's how you make them. Also, one thing I didn't mention, you can see I've set this top slide over that way, so it cuts the male taper, but then you've got to cut the female taper on the end. Well, you don't want to be changing the setup, so the best way of doing that is to leave it like this and use a boring bar which is upside down and cuts on the far side like this. So you don't have to change it, you can leave it set up. And the other advantage of that, of course, is this: you're guaranteed to have the same angle on your arbor that you have in the socket on the back of the hub, the disc hub. A couple of other tips. Firstly, if you've got two Morse taper tooling like I've got, headstock, tailstock, if you want to clean out that socket, a great way of doing it is with one of these, which is a 12 gauge shotgun bronze bristle brush. And believe you me, if you scrub with this, you'll get it spotlessly clean. And you can follow up with a 12 gauge mop with WD-40 on it. That's quite a good way of getting any embedded bits of swarf or whatever that it might have got in there, and this will clear it out. That's a good tip. As an aside, if anybody's got any bright ideas what to do with these, it's a pity. This is 2-inch stainless steel. I've got dozens of these things. They were made as counterweights for astronomical telescope balancing kits. I made dozens of these. Well, I've got dozens left over, but it's got an off-centre 1/2-inch hole and a hole, threaded hole in the side for a locking screw, and I have no idea what I can use these for. They seem to be pretty much useless. So if anybody's got any bright ideas what you can use these for, please put it in the comment.